Yeah, absolutely. Everybody had an outstanding week last week, a historic week. We had a doubles team of Alejandro Gandini and Matthew Lanahan qualify for nationals for the very first time on the men's tennis team. An outstanding achievement, and I'm extremely happy for the two of them, especially, but for the entire team. I think everybody learned a ton about what it means to be a competitive team, to really play with big schools like Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Nebraska, some of the teams we beat there. Um, just extremely proud of how they behaved last week and what we were able to accomplish.
Questions?
What did you see in particular that allowed them to have the success that they did on this day?
To be honest with you, it came out of nowhere. We did make some adjustments in practice the last month or so, but I can't take all the credit for what they achieved because it's only been a month or a month and a half that I've been working with them. And, a lot of credit goes to recruiting, to Tom Lilly and also to a former GA that was here who brought those players in. And they just basically were able to tap in their potential, what they're able to do already. I just maybe helped them a little bit, getting it out of them. But, first round was very particular because Alejandro was still really uncomfortable, cramping from singles, and he was just hopping around the court and trying to get through that match really. And they were down, a break early in that first round doubles match. Managed to somehow, with a lot of energy, come back. And from then on out, like against Oklahoma, second round, they were the two seeds. They just came out on fire, and I just supported them as much as I could. And they walked away, with an 8-2 win, which is unbelievable, unbelievably lopsided. If anything, everybody expected it to be the other way. And it just kept snowballing. They didn't really think too hard about anything. We didn't really have great expectations coming into the tournament. And, everybody started to think maybe a little bit more once we got to the semifinals. Once we played Nebraska in the semifinals, we knew that, okay, if we win one more match, then we'll be at nationals. And so that was a new situation for all of us. And I think we handled it really well. But they really pushed themselves as players, and they really pushed me as a coach too, because those are some situations that, in all honesty, that I've never been in really as a coach either. So it was a huge learning experience for them and for me. So I just really think they tapped into what they can do already, and they found a way to do that.
At the beginning of the year, did you think they'd be, you have a team that would be able to go to nationals?
No, not really. I wasn't really thinking about it. Our goal, as I said in the first press conference, is to win the Big East. And it's so funny because the final that they lost, very very closely, they probably played their best match. That was probably their best match of the tournament. And they kind of know what that feels like now, to be in a position of winning something really important and not being able to come through by none of their own fault, really. I think they played an outstanding match, but I don't think they want to have that feeling again. So if anything, that if we can take that feeling of, oh, we don't want to come up short when it really matters, when we want to win the Big East in April, that's our big goal, then I think that would be another win for us as a team.
What did you learn about yourself coaching in that environment for the first time?
Oh, it's just you have to be very focused, and you have to be able to pay attention to a lot of small details. So much of it in those situations is that you really need to know how to handle your players well and how to get them into a competitive state of mind. And for that, you have to have really, really good presence of mind. And so it's just constant evaluation, of the opponents and what your players are doing, and there I was able to draw on my own experience a lot, because I've been in similar situations. But I really think that especially when it comes to Alejandro and Matthew, they surpassed me a little bit as a player because I think because they made it to the finals, they're going to be at nationals. This should result in a national ranking, and I personally, as a player, was never nationally ranked. So I told them too, like, they learned a lot from me, I think, as a coach during that tournament, but I learned, especially in that final, semifinal, I learned a lot from them, because Alejandro, for instance, was extremely poised and showed the leadership that we were hoping he would show. And Matthew is just, an outstanding leader anyways. He's always been an outstanding leader from the beginning. Very good role model in that respect. So yeah, what I learned was that, college tennis too, as a whole, I think it's become more fair, and we kind of had ways to win matches in the past that were still fair, but they were kind of edgy. And I think people really do treat each other with a lot more respect than they did maybe 20 years ago. And so this is something that I think we're still trying to work out, is like, how can we be really gritty, and how can we be really competitive without being obnoxious, So and I personally, got to know all the coaches that in our region, and never met them before. So there's some really good ones in there. And so, yeah, it's overall a huge growing experience for the team and for me as well.
For those of us who maybe haven't paid attention to the Nationals in the past, how many teams qualify? Where is it? What are the dates? Give us just some background of what lies ahead.
Oh, sure. Well, you have to win your region, or finish runner-up. And so the draw that's going to be in San Diego next week from November 1 to 5 is going to be a draw of 32 teams. So the best 32 teams of the country are going to play there. And that's as far as we'll take it. I mean, we're going to have opponents of the caliber that we had in the finals every single round. So it's going to be extremely competitive. And yeah, I mean, we'll just try to go as far as we can.